ordinarily your rig might look like this. Just plain bones, you have to rotate them to move them about, just to bend the knee. And if you, like I have here, have inherent rotation off, so it doesn't move the leg, then you might get the foot to be balanced quite easily. But this is quite time consuming. Hence that's why a lot of people opt for using IK. So IK is a system where you just move the foot and the knee bends towards wherever a bone is placed. And it's just a fancy way of saying it just bends it better. So you just have to worry about moving the knee and the foot. So let's try setting this up then. If I take the bone here, we can see that in edit mode I've got these two bones simply just connected. So this one is connected to this one, and they connect to the pelvis here. However, this bone is not connected to anything, and this is the knee, and this bone is just its foot. So its foot and its knee are completely separate from these. So it's got no parenting, no connection, no nothing. And that's important to realise. Now I'll talk about why this is bent in a second. So if I go back into pose mode, I select this, I go to bone constraints, I go to inverse kinematics. Now what you have to do is you have to set the target of the legs. So here we're just going to select this object, so the object being this rig. So it'll be the same for both of them, because all of our bones are within this rig object. So now it wants the bone that it targets to, so this is the foot, so this is where it's going to end up pointing in the end. So let's do for the foot L, so that's this one, and then for the bone, which is the pole target, it'll be this one. So this is the one it points to when it's rotating. So that'll be knee L. Now already it's got a bit wonky, and that's because we haven't set our chain length. So currently this bone does not know it's in a line of 2. So like in edit mode we can see that it's a chain length of 2, because this one is connected to this one, it makes a chain, the chain has 2 in it. So let's go into pose mode and set that to 2. And now we can see that it's bending. However, this knee is wrong. You can see that it's just pointing away from it. So here we can see that because this one is acting differently, it's because of its axes. So if I go to the bone settings and turn on axes, we can see that the default front-facing axis on this bone is taken to be X. So this one will try and point X to this bone when it's at a rotation of 0. So say I've got this set up perfectly, its X is pointing to this. Oh sorry, that said Y. So that its Y is pointing to this, then that's great. But what if I wanted it the other way around? So if I was doing a rooster or a ostrich, and I wanted it to point the other direction, well I can change the pole angle. So what that does is it takes it from pointing 0 angles away from this to 180. So 180 would be the exact opposite of this. And the way it figures that out is from input edit mode. We can see that there is a misalignment between this one and this one. So there is an angle that's drawn between here and here that is less than here to here. So this would be less than 180 and this would be more than 180 because it's got this slight bend. And that's how it figures out which way to point. So let's say I make a new bone. So back to this, just set this 180, and this one could be 0, but I could also just go into edit mode, rotate this, put it to a different direction, and it'll all be fine. If you want to. But in terms of the straight line, if I go here, I've got a bone connected here, it's got the armature here, the bone here which is the foot, and I've got the knee here. So this is also to demonstrate that the chain can be more than 2 if you want it to be. So right now if I move this, it's not behaving like you'd think. It does point to the knee, and it does follow this leg, but it has no angle to go off of. So that's why if you're doing a normal model, you may be inclined to do this, and then give it a slight angle to go off of. But if you wanted to not have it changed in edit mode, you could do another method, which is this, where we just add an inverse kinematic here, which would be for bone 4, and then just leave that how it is, so put that back to 4, and then just inverse kinematics on this, put it on this object, put it to bone 5. So if I do that, it bends normally. So this is how you could set up a straight line, but this isn't connected as well, by the way. So you could set it to a straight line, and it works like that. Now, you want to be careful with this sometimes, because it will make it judder a bit. But you can also, if you really wanted to, just if I go back to this, we can just move it in pose mode so it doesn't have to be off in edit mode. So if you rotate this, it can still work and still point in one direction. Now the errors you could get from this are if you have this misconnected, or if you have the chain length not set. You could also change its influence, so if you want to animate it so that it's not working, then you can put it on this. The most problems I see are from this either being connected or just not the right bone targets here. You just want to remember that the first one is the one it's pointing to, and the second one is the angle of the knee. So if you have any questions, please post them, and I'll try to get back to you. So in short, make sure your knees and foot are disconnected from the actual rig, and then make sure that these rotations are fine. You want to make sure they're all pointing in the same direction, or with the X mirror on, they're opposite direction. You want to make sure that this angle is whichever way you want your legs to face. You want to make sure that these are set up to be the correct ones. And that's pretty much what you got to check. If you ever feel like you just could not get it right and it's just not working for you, then I implore you to just open a new scene, just try out a new Blender scene and just stick it in a very basic rig just to try it. So just do this with anything as well, just get a quick armature, make a quick messy one and just see where it goes. You'll probably find your error there.